So, how are you and the family doing, mate?
Good, not too bad.
Yeah, sweet. So, before we get stuck into your rugby story, Gil, where was home for you and who lived with you as a kid?
Bit of a long story this. My dad was in the forces, so home for me was everywhere. So I lived in Northern Ireland, England, Wales, Hong Kong, Germany, and Canada.
Wow.
So I bounced
You
around a bit,
stamps, mate. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was me, my dad, my mum, obviously, and then my sister.
Right. Where's your competitive edge come from then, mate?
Probably from my parents.
Yeah.
My dad played rugby. He played rugby union for Pontypridd
Right.
to a decent level. Then when he joined the forces, he played for the rugby teams. He played sort of the Sevens, everything like that. I remember when I was a kid, he had a photo against Wesley Serevi. He's like a
Right.
legend of Fijian Sevens.
Yeah. Jim playing sevens, mate. I ain't got the legs for that.
Really?
So, when did you get introduced to rugby then, and what club was your first club?
Rugby league?
Either or, mate. Either or.
One second, mate. Dog's carrying on. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
So, rugby union would have been Germany. I would have been 8 or 9.
Okay.
I didn't start playing rugby league till I was 14.
Right. And how did you find?
And that was...
Go on, sorry.
No, that was with Torvine Tigers down in South Wales in Pontypool.
Yeah.
That was my first taste of rugby league, and it was just to kind of stay fit in the summer, really, but before the rugby union season started.
Yeah. So you used it as like a crossover, like a fitness crossover.
Kind of, yeah. It was just something to, like, a few of my mates, we kind of just got invited down to give it a go because they just kind of started the team up, and we were like, yeah, we'll give it. I'd seen it on telly. I remember the first game I watched was when Adrian Morley got sent off in that first minute against Australia for GB. I thought, I'll have a go at that. Yeah, it looks good.
So, how did you find it coming back into us? I don't know what. See, I grew up playing rugby league, went to rugby union. I flipped back into like yourself. So, how was it being brought up playing rugby union? Was it tag or was you playing tackle straight away?
No, I didn't play rugby union properly until, what would I have been? So I played a bit in Germany.
Yeah.
And then I didn't play rugby league again until rugby union, until I was about 12.
Okay.
So I grew up, my first memories of sport is Canada, and I played ice hockey in Canada. So my dream was to play in the NHL, be the next Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, but the alpha.
I played ice hockey everywhere I went. That was my sport. That's what I wanted to do. So rugby was just kind of something that I couldn't really play ice hockey anymore in South Wales. So I kind of started playing something else with a bit of contact.
Yeah. So how did hockey come into your life then, and how difficult's that?
Well, just in obviously being in Canada, that's the national sport, ice hockey, and I lived opposite an ice rink. So as soon as I was old enough to kind of go and try out, I learned to skate. I was like, I want to play ice hockey. Me and my dad watched it together, when I was a kid, obviously back then. And like, I fell in love with the sport straight away. The high contact, high speed. It's just flat out the whole game. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I played it in Germany. I played inline hockey in South Wales.
Right.
And I played that for a number of years. And then kind of as I got a bit older, it was kind of, I was playing football, rugby and ice hockey, inline hockey, sorry.
Yeah.
And it was kind of at the point where I had to kind of choose what sport I wanted to pursue. And I was all right at football, but I weren't great.
Yeah.
Hockey was never really going to go anywhere long term. So I kind of went down the rugby route.
Right, that's mad, that, mate. So we're a similar age. So anything to do with the Mighty Ducks, no? I loved it, mate.
Sorry, bud. No, I watched all the Mighty Ducks. My kids actually watch the Mighty Ducks films now as well, and they love them.
The
girl always wants to yeah.
So going into, really, you didn't settle into a sport till later on with moving around, did you? But how did you find moving around with education?
it's a bit different to what my kids are doing at the minute, because we were in the forces. We always went to sort of international schools, so British speaking. So when we were in Germany, we went to a British speaking school.
Yeah.
When we were in Canada, I went to the local school in Canada. And moving around every 2 to 4 years, I look back now with fond memories, but at the time it wasn't great, because you just get comfortable, you get settled, you make some friends, and then we're off again.
Yeah.
And it was challenging. Looking back now, it was challenging, but I feel like it's something that kind of maybe the person I am as well, because I feel like I'm very open to new things, and I want to do other things. And I know that I can go somewhere, and I know that I can fit in, and I'll be able to make it work, because I've done it so many times previously.
Yeah, you've got that adaptiveness in you, mate, haven't you?
Exactly, yeah.
So when you said you decided to carry on with the rugby,
Apologies.
Yeah,
good on your worst guest ever, this, am I?
Yeah, so when you've sort of put your hat on the rugby line, mate, could you have imagined how far you'd come, or was it just have a good go?
No, like I said, I was rugby union first, so my dream was to play for Wales rugby union. That's what I thought I was going to do, and I kind of moved across to rugby league more seriously so I was playing. I played under 14s, under 15s, but I was younger, so I was playing up a year. Yeah. And then we didn't have a team. And in Wales, you go to youth rugby, so 16 to 18 all played together.
Yeah.
And I went to Pontypool United at the time. We were a very good youth team. We won the Welsh Cup final my first year. So I was like, right, everything's going in rugby union basket. All eggs in one basket is what I'm doing. Yeah. And I didn't get picked for the representative sides that first year. And I kind of had my nose put out of place a bit by it. And I was like, something's not gelling here type thing. So I had some mates, Dalton Grant. He was playing at Newport Titans at the time. He texted me and said, can you come and play with short numbers? So my team previously was Torvine Tigers. Right. I brushed him twice, told him no. And Newport were playing Torvine. So I was like, yeah, go on, I'll come have a game for you. Like, why not? So I went down, had a game. I think I scored 3 or 4 tries. And the ref at the time turned out to be the Celtic Crusaders academy coach, Dan Clements. And he kind of come up to me after the game and said, what are you doing? I said, I play youth for United, like just helping some mates out because they were short. And he was like, we just started a pro team down in Bridgend. Do you fancy coming down and having a go? Like, and I was like, yeah, I like rugby league. Definitely, I'll come and have a go. So it kind of went from there.
Right. So what position did you play in rugby union?
I was 12, inside centre.
But I say, you don't want that front row stuff, mate, do you? Back row at minimum, innit?
No, not about that life. No. Crash ball 12, and I played a bit of back row, but no, inside centre, crash ball 12.
Right, mate. So do you think playing in midfield, because without being rude, front rowers probably in the pro rugby league game could comfortably slot into minimum semi-pro centres, couldn't they? Because the middle is very active, isn't it?
Yeah.
So do you think that opened your eyes?
What was that, sorry?
Do you reckon that opened your eyes a little bit then to how a game can be played?
Well, when I played league, I played prop, and as opposed to union, and obviously, rugby union, it's very much a territorial game, and it's that type of game. And I played league in the middle, I played prop, and I'd never touched the ball so much.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? Why am I getting the ball so much? It's crazy. How good is this? So as soon as I had a taste of that, because when I played rugby league, when I was playing a year up for Torvine, I was in the centres because I played centre. I was a little bit smaller than the other lads, 2 years older than me, so I was out on the centres.
Right.
So I enjoyed it, but it wasn't really. I weren't really in the thick of it. Whereas as soon as I got that first bit of taste in the middle, I was like, how good's this?
Yeah, right.
And then I went back to rugby union and wanted to play back row.
Yeah, that's it though, isn't it? Just because you're heavily involved, aren't you?
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you went down there, mate, how did that work? How did you get down there? Who went with you, and how long did it take for them to get you signing?
You're testing me there now.
Sorry.
We went down to Bridgend, and it was like a kind of like an open trial type thing. My old man just run me down, and one of my mates came down with me, Jamie Tibbs. So me and him had gone down together, and we just kind of played some games really. And then off the back of that, they kind of, because it was new, they just kind of needed to get a team together.
Okay.
And then no one got paid at first.
Yeah.
And we went through the first pre-season, and then they started signing anybody's contracts. I'm trying to remember if I did that on my own as well. I think I did that on my own.
Yeah, was it daunting, like? Because it's getting, when you start talking contracts, it's serious, Gil, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. And it was one of them where I kind of had to make the decision then as well when the contract talk came, because I still thought at the time I was going to play rugby union.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I had to move across and go, right, well, I'm not playing union anymore. I play rugby league now, and I'm going to get paid to play it. So it was a bit different. It was a bit of a different ball game when that came in. But like I said, it was a pretty easy decision because I loved the game. I much preferred it to what I was doing in terms of rugby union, in terms of being involved. And it was new. It was new at the time down there. It was a new team. It was exciting. There was a buzz around the place.
Right. So upon signing for them, mate, you'd already played for Wales, hadn't you?
No, so I was with the academy. I debuted for Wales first team before I debuted for Crusaders first team.
Madness, that.
It was mental. So we played the full year academy season for Crusaders, and then at the end of the year they played England at Doncaster, and there was myself and Rhys Williams, who was at Warrington at the time. Warrington Wolves, the winger, and we debuted in that game together. And then it wasn't until the following season when all the deportation stuff came in with a few of the overseas lads that a load of us got thrown into the Super League setup, and we played down at Rodney Parade and made our debut. I think there was about 7 or 8 of us at the time, and we got absolutely thumped by Leeds.
Some debut though, when it's a big game against Whiteley. I'd gone from playing.
Oh man, I'd gone from playing. Oh, you mean the Super League debut?
Yeah.
Oh, the Wales debut. I'd gone from playing academy to then lining up against Gareth Ock and Stu Fielder.
Lovely.
You know what was going on?
Well, does the international scene work, Gil? How did the call up come, and how did you feel being? Could you tell a difference in the environment?
Yeah, it was very different to what I was used to, because there was quite a few at the time. There was a lot of Super League lads, and there was lads from other teams, and I had only been playing rugby league for maybe 3 or 4 years. And these lads, like you said, grew up on league. They were league through and through. But there was a few of the boys that I knew there from the Crusaders first team, and some of the lads kind of, so it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too big of a deal in terms of that, like knowing people and stuff. It was quite a good experience. Definitely thrown into the deep end.
Yeah.
it was a really good experience. Yeah, definitely.
No, mate, because obviously we'll touch on it as our chat continues, but you've always been in and around competing environments. So what I mean by that is top level, top end, business end. You've never, other than being with us, the witness, you've never really been in and around mid-table, lower table, have you? You've always been in them environments. So how have you kept yourself evolving as you've carried on? How do you keep adapting to being better? Because you have only got better if you've got older, haven't
you? Yeah, I think the time at Crusaders, it was a bit of a strange time, because like we'd kind of come through with the team, and we were kind of like the next group, and then obviously it kind of got took away from us.
Yeah.
With what happened with the Super League license. When I moved over to Wigan and got the opportunity, is my connection all right? It keeps saying it's unstable.
Yeah, no, you're coming in and out, but you're solid, like I can hear you.
All right, okay. Yeah, and then when I went across to Wigan, then it was weird. Like I said, I'd kind of gone from playing in and out of the team at Crusaders, kind of looking at the Wiggins going, good then, and then I was playing with, I'd signed for him, and I was like, I had a bit of like I seen lockers and that when I first walked in, and I was like, how have I managed to land this here? Like, what's going on here? Well, I think that was kind of like the underpinning of my whole career, really, that time at Wigan, because it was when Wayne had just come in, and it was all about like the Wigan way, and I think that's kind of that getting that kind of early on in my career, not so much coming through the academy and stuff, but my first kind of real full-time professional, because I was only 21 when I went there. I kind of learned off the best people I could have learned off of how to be a pro, how to approach games, how to kind of go about things. And then that obviously ended. And then when I come across to Widnes, we had a good couple of years, the first couple of years.
Yeah. No, we did. We
finished just outside the playoffs, and then we finished 7th. And I thought we were really building towards something. And then obviously things played out the way they did. And to be honest with you, when we got relegated from Widnes that first year, that year we got relegated, I only played a handful of games. I'd never had a surgery before, and I ended up having 2 surgeries that year. I had a back surgery and an ankle surgery. And I kind of thought, what's going on here? Like, what am I going to do? I thought I was going to have to get a job. And then Salford, I thought I was going to have to finish, if I'm honest. I did. I thought I was going to have to finish. I had two kids at the time. I was like, this is it. It's over. And I'd already had a taste of that when I left Wigan. So I was like, right, okay, well, that's that then. And then I had the second chance with Salford, really. They kind of come in kind of last minute and made that move. And I thought, if I'm going to carry on, I'm going to just give it. It's your second chance, isn't it? It's like a second lease on life. So everything after that was a bonus.
Right.
And like you say, when we got there, we had a couple of really good years. You know, we made a couple of finals and stuff, which was kind of never expected. I'm kind of rambling here now. I can't.
No, it's all right. Yeah, no, it's sound. So what if we go back a bit, mate? So we'll go right back to the Crusaders time. You actually had the loan spell, didn't you? Was it South Wales at the time?
Yeah, South Wales Scorpions.
Yeah, so you made team of the year. You've been playing rugby league for like 3 or 4 years, like you've said.
Yeah.
So again, dropping down that league without being rude to anyone, the standard might not be Super League or Champ, but the men are real keen and vicious, aren't they? You're playing proper man's rugby, aren't you?
I remember at the time, Yestin was an assistant coach, and he kind of said to me, "We're going to send you out for the year." Yeah. And they sent all of us down there. They did. So it was me, Lloyd White, Lewis Mills, Jamie Murphy, Elliot Keir all went down. But he said you need to play against men because I'd only played academy. I've not played against proper men. And I remember the first couple of games, it was a bit of like because we had a young team. We were a young team down there. We didn't have any seat. I think we had a couple of older heads that had played a bit up north.
That you need. You need the older heads, mate, don't you?
Well, you do, yeah. So it kind of fell on us young lads to kind of step up and be counted. So it was kind of trial by fire, but it was brilliant. It was some of the best times. Like me and some of my mates, like we talk now about them days when we used to drive down on a Friday night, and then we'd get down team run Saturday, we'd play Sunday, and we'd go out after in Roundbridge and pound a drink everywhere, and then we'd have to drive back up Monday morning to get flogged.
Yeah, so it's just
those
like
are the times that you remember. They're the good times.
That's it, mate. As much as the fans want to think the be all and end all is game day, it's not. It's just part of the job, isn't it? It's the bondings and the pre-season trips and stuff like that really make the experience for you boys.
Well, that's what makes the team as well.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that togetherness, then it's not worth anything.
No, it's all, and that's the thing. So when you're winning games, it is a good habit and everyone's happy, aren't they? And everyone's on the ride. But when you've been beat a few weeks and people are under pressure, coaches are getting, have they still got a job? That's when them nights out and then pre-seasons really come to the fore for you, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. That team spirit really shines through then.
So how did that move to Wigan come about then, mate? How, was it only Wigan interested, and is that something you just couldn't turn down?
No, there's a couple of others, and to be honest, I was looking towards going to a different team, and then I got a phone call because obviously Yestin had gone across as assistant, and I got a phone call saying Wigan are interested. What's your thoughts? And I was like, well, the first rugby league top I ever got when I was a kid was a Wigan top. And I was really the only team I knew at the time before I started playing. So it was the only team most people know, innit? They know Wigan Warriors.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right, okay, right. I'll kind of pump the brakes on what I thought I was doing and see what happens here. And, luckily it all came through and it came off and ended up moving across.
Yeah.
And like you say, I think that was kind of the making of me.
Yeah, so it's that environment again, because you've gone from sometimes a survival environment, no offence to anyone at the Celtic Crusaders at the time, so you've gone to like one of the probably top 4, top 6 elite clubs in the country, haven't you? Well known. And you've said you've learnt the Wigan way
exactly. And I think when we was at Crusaders, because we were young and we were probably a bit naive, we kind of just were like, this is awesome, like we're getting paid to play rugby. And then when you go to an environment like that where it's not just about playing rugby, it's about winning, you kind of go, oh right, okay, there's a bit more to it here, like there's something else coming on here. So it was good to get involved in that as my next port of call, as opposed to kind of maybe going a different direction and my career maybe not panning out as it has.
Yeah, so again, is the success, when you rock up to somewhere like that, and obviously, like you said, Wigan was the only club you knew before you played it. Was success something that you felt was guaranteed, or did you understand that you had to put a shift in for it?
I wouldn't have said it was guaranteed, but after my time there, so we won the league leaders in 2012. We won the double in 2013. We were in the final in 2014. I just thought that was how rugby league was.
Yeah. I
thought you just were in a final every year. You were always winning and like life was good.
Sorry, mate.
No, that's what I thought. Like I said, I was a bit naive to it all. And then when I left, I kind of realised that it wasn't all of that.
So how did you find like the build up to derbies and that from being...
Well, that was my debut, Good Friday derby. So against St Helens was my debut.
Class.
And to be fair, when Wayne was the coach, he made sure you knew how important it was to the team, the town and the place and how proud they are. So there wasn't really any issue with getting up for the derby games.
Especially if you're taking the ball in off the back line, mate, and it off a kick-off. Can't afford to not be aware.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah. So how were the build up to them big games, mate? Especially them finals. How did you rock up before a game? Was you pretty calm? Are you a bit nervy? And how were them weeks building up to a big game?
Yeah, everyone wants to say, "Oh, you'll treat us the same as any other week." It's not the same as any other week at all. No. Whoever says that's never done it, or they're just lying because they're not. There is a different feel about it. Wigan were really good in the fact that they made sure that you knew it was a special occasion. So they would do different things for them sort of weeks, whether that being we went away as a team and we were away together for the whole build up, or they got special guests in to come and present the shirts and speak and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In my earlier years, I was very nervous. I'd say I was, like you say, you're taking that first ball off the back fence, aren't you? So everything starts with you, and you've got to set the tone in the fence. So we used to have a sports psychologist, and we used to speak to him quite regularly in the build up to them sort of games. And I had little superstitions. I don't have any of that anymore. I think that's something that you have as a younger person, not so much as you get a bit older. But yeah, like I said, it's special. I'm like, now, having that period of time where I didn't make any, now I feel I'm more grateful for when I do get to play in a final, and I kind of savour it a bit more. And I've got my family now, my kids and my wife and that, and it's nice to have them involved and around it.
Yeah. So even at a young age, mate, even though them sort of people were available to you, the psychiatrists and stuff, you were very open and receptive to that, was you? Or did you bat it off as a kid? Because at 21, 22, you're still a young lad, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've always been quite receptive. Like, I'm happy to try anything once. Like, I'm not. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I'll move on and not try it again. And I think that's I think that comes back to my growing up, to be honest. Like I said, we moved around a lot, so we had to move, we had to try new things and do different things. And like I said, try different sports. You know, you go to different clubs, you have to make new friends. You have to, like, I'm pretty open-minded to pretty much anything, and if it's going to make me any better, then I'm very open to trying anything once.
Yeah, fair play to you, mate. And how is it playing in them big arenas, the big stadiums? So your home ground at Wigan for the start's pretty massive. Then you go and play at Old Trafford, you're playing at Wembley. How's that for you as a young fella as well?
Old Trafford was a bit of a blur the first time, 2013. Wembley as well. Like Wembley is enormous, and it doesn't get sold out, so it's not as bad. Plus, I'd played at Wembley in the Four Nations previous, right, with Wales against New Zealand. So I'd been there before, but that first time at Old Trafford, when the fireworks are going off and the fans are screaming and it's properly sold out, that is like this is a big game.
They're a lot closer as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're on top here, whereas at Wembley they're a bit further removed. Yeah, like you said.
No, it's an experience, mate. You can tick off in it. So I've gone past that a little bit, sorry, mate. But how is that Four Nations and playing against them big national sides? Is that test always something you're striving for?
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, we had a couple of good years with Wales. We went European champions. And I think we went back to back on that. And I remember the year we qualified for Nations, we weren't expected to do anything. And we beat France in, I think it was Albi, by a point or 2 points. And we had Gareth Thomas playing and Lee Briers. And I remember all the celebrations were set up for France. And they didn't know what to do. It was the most awkward thing ever when we beat them. But then going into that Four Nations the year after, we had such a solid group of players. Like you say, through them experiences of kind of being together on tour and stuff. Like, because we went on tour to Serbia, I think, the one year. We had to go and play over there. We were in Scotland, everywhere. So we had a real solid, close-knit group. And, you know, it was an experience in and of itself. Like, I think the pre-season dinner, the launch was down at the Tower of London. So, you know, got to go and do all of that. And then, you know, playing your New Zealands and, you know, your England and your Australia, it's just something that you can't really express what it was like at the time, especially back then when I was that much younger. It was something that I kind of never thought would happen, and, you know, to play in them grounds against them teams was definitely like a big bucket list tick for me, because, like I said, as a kid, I always wanted to represent Wales. Rugby union, that's what the guy in Blenheim Stadium. So when I think my first game for Crusaders, the one season was Magic Weekend. We had it the first round, didn't we? And we played in Blenheim Stadium there. And like that for me was like, this is unbelievable.
Box ticked, didn't it, mate? Different sport, but same venue, innit?
Exactly, box tick, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So when you're in these big occasions, mate, do you get a chance to, because I'm quite sentimental, mate. So I'd keep like my jersey, a programme. I might even try and swap a spare one if you'd ever get a spare one. Is that something you're into, or are you all about the memory?
I've got all my final jerseys. I've got them international ones that we've got. My mum and dad has got them down in the house. I've got programme. The kids just grab everything they can. I've got all the lanyards. Kids all... They've got my medals and my rings and God knows where in their bedrooms. So yeah, I've got little mementos and memories and that from there.
Brilliant, mate. So obviously you touched on it and you signed for Witness, mate.
Hang on, mate. Let me try and just change this connection because I think it might be all right now.
No worries.
You got me?
Yeah, you're on, yeah.
There we go, right. That's better.
No worries. So you signed for Witness, mate. What was it an amicable leave from Wigan to sign? Would you have stayed? Would you be happy to go? And why Witness? Was anyone else keen? Or?
It was a bit of a weird one because I'd re-signed at Wigan the year before.
Right.
And then they wanted me to go out on loan. Yeah. And I just had a baby and just bought a house. And I didn't really feel like I needed to go on loan, and I was happy to fight for my place. So I don't know what behind the scenes was going on, but I basically just said, if you want me to leave, I'll leave, but I'm leaving. I'm not going on loan somewhere for a year. I'm going to leave and go somewhere where I kind of feel comfortable. And to be fair to them, they were like, yeah, that's fine. You can pick where you want to go and you can leave. That's not a problem. And we come to an agreement. At that time, there was interest from Catalan at the time, and a team and another team. But like I said, we just bought a house.
Yeah.
Our first child, we just bought an house. So I was like, I don't really want to leave the Northwest. And when Widnes came up, it was kind of like it was like a no-brainer, really. It was like, right, let's go to Widnes. They're building something. I had friends there, Lloyd White, Reece Hambry, who I played with at Crusaders. Lloydie's one of my closest mates, so it was an easy move for me to make. I was like, yeah, let's go. I spoke to him for a bit, and he kind of was like, yeah, we're building something here. So, like I say, it was an easy move, and it was a good move at the time because I basically got told at Wigan that I was down the order, and I was willing to fight for my place. But I spoke to Dennis, and Widnes were really keen to get me in, and I was keen to be playing regularly, so it was a good fit.
Yeah. No, so again, I touched on it before, but even though people wouldn't class us as a Wigan, we're still a big club in our own right, weren't we? But the regular game time, again, allows you to kick on and improve, mate, which I think you always have. So how did you think your spell at Widnes went? Was it something you enjoyed? And
I did enjoy it, mate. Like I said, in the first 2 years, where did we finish the first? I think we finished 9th the first year by like a point. And then the second year we finished 7th. Yeah. It was the highest ever Super League finish. And I couldn't wait to get into year 3 because we were going to kick on again.
Yeah, that's how it felt at the time as well, everywhere, didn't it?
And I think that's the year Kev left, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously that kind of transpired. And the model that they took, where they wanted to bring all the youth through, is amicable, but you have to do it a certain way, and I don't think it got done the right way. And I think it kind of left some of them younger lads, hung them out to dry a bit, and stunted them more than anything. And it also cost the team in the long run. And I think, when I look back now, them first 2 years, I loved it. Even the third year, it was hard, but we got through it. But that last year, I had loads of injury problems. The whole town had turned on us, and it was just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, do you know what I can imagine, mate? Because it is one of them towns that I've no doubt we're going to the same, except they've got a good football team, so we can take a little bit off.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of, from what you're saying, a lot of Wigan's pressures are from yourselves because of what you'd expect from each other. But at Widnes, it's all the fans have got in it.
It's that as well, and I think a lot of the frustration, it gets taken out on the people that you see, and I think the whole town were aware of what was going on and who was ultimately at fault. But you're the people out on the field, and you're the ones that they can see and shout at, which, that you're there, and I get it. I do get it. And it was as frustrating for us as players as it was for the fans, if not more so, because we're there every day on the coalface watching everything just crumble around us.
Well, and that's exactly it, isn't it? So I've said to every other guest probably, they don't understand. Say you play on a Saturday, don't understand your Monday to Friday, did he?
No.
They don't see that hurt and graft you're putting in, the sacrifice you're doing, because yourself, albeit you've not had to travel on a plane or 24 hours, but you've moved up here, you've just settled down, like you said, and then you've got to move again after, without being rude. A new contract is a semi-promise in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've had to walk away from a decent contract to back yourself. And then, like you said, you were unlucky with injuries, and you hadn't had them before, you mentioned. So how?
No, I hadn't that year. I'd had a couple of injuries. I did my syndesmosis at Wigan, and I had a bit of a neck issue, but I'd never needed a surgery. And then that final year, I did my back the last game. We beat Catalan to avoid the £1 million game. So my back went in that pretty much the last 3 minutes of that game, and I felt it go.
Right.
And obviously, but I didn't think anything of it at the time.
Yeah.
I just thought, I've got a bit of a spasm there. We won the game. No one cared. I didn't care. We're happy. We've done the job. No one cares. And we went into pre-season, and there was something not right. And we went and got some scans and stuff and all that, and everything was, you've got a bit of a disc bulge, but it's nothing major. crack on. Got through my last bit of rehab stuff before I was going back into the team. And you'll not believe me, I bent down, put my socks on, and I felt like someone stabbed me in the back.
Yeah.
I jumped up and being like, what's going on here? Long story short, the disc had basically just perforated.
Right.
So ended up having to get the surgery. So they had to just take a microdiscectomy, it's called. They take a little bit of the disc away, stitch it back up. Bob's your uncle, good to go.
Right.
So I went through all of that, got back. I think I got back at Easter period. I think I got 3 or 4 games in. Bam, syndesmosis. So got that fixed. Got back for a couple of games. We played Toulouse away in the middle eights. We were winning. Bam, did my other syndesmosis. I think I played 7 games that year, and I was just like, this can't be happening. This is ridiculous. I remember sitting in the changing rooms. Physio told me my ankle had gone. It was like 50 odd minutes, and I just kept hearing cheers, and I was like, how is this ending like this?
Yeah.
But that's part of the sport. It's like I said, it was hard at the time because I'd never had a surgery. And then to go bang, 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 and just see the team going down, 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 not being able to do anything about it to help.
Yeah.
And then realising that we've been relegated. I remember I was sat at Steph Marsh's house when they lost over in, was it Toronto?
Yes.
Was that the one where it sealed the fate?
Yeah, they beat. No, did London beat us at home? Was it the London game? Must have been away if you were at Steph's, mustn't it?
No, it was Toronto because I played in the London game.
Yeah.
Which we spoke about not throwing that pass all week, and then we threw that pass. And then, we watched the Toronto game, and I remember we just sat there and just didn't have anything to say. I just got in my car and went home.
Yeah, what can you do in it? And you know what, mate? Without sounding daft, because I've got a back issue myself, you've talked that operation down big time. And I know they might only trim it and do that, but for one, it's a major part of your body.
Mm.
But 2, you've never been under a knife before.
No.
3, sometimes the way you think they go in, they don't go in that way.
Mm.
So it's all serious stuff for a young dad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I had 2 kids at the time, and we just bought our kind of forever home, I guess, at the time. And then to see like the season get taken and not being able to play, and then watch us go down and down, it was just like I said, it come to the head when we got relegated. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Right.
But like I say, look, and there wasn't really many options out there for me because I'd not played all year because I'd been injured all year.
Yeah, which you'd think you'd earn a bit, wouldn't you?
You what, sorry?
You'd think with your performances, the way you grew, you'd earn a bit of credit in the bank, people call it, don't they?
Yeah, but everyone only remembers your last game, don't they? You learn that. Yeah. Sport's a very fickle beast. Yeah.
And when did you come to grips with that, mate, that not only is it sport, it's business as well? When did you get your...
When I was 24 in Wigan, what happened at Wigan?
Did you?
I just had a baby, just got married, kind of basically got told, thank you, but we don't need you anymore. And I remember then, I went to night school after that.
Yeah.
So when I come to Widnes, I went to night school. I did 4 years at night school to studying to become an accountant because I look at it now and I think of it as a blessing because I learned at a young age, it is business.
Yeah, it's not a given, is it?
No, you're only going to get paid if you're doing your job, and even if you're doing your job, other circumstances might come about, nothing to do with your own fault, but there's no longer a place at a certain club for you. Yeah. And I think some people learn that at the back end of their career, and that's when I feel like people struggle to give up the ghost and they're chasing it, and that's when people then you end up having a hard time because you've never had to deal with that. And so I look back now, it was a blessing. It was the best thing that ever happened to me because it made me realise that you need more because it will come to an end.
And sometimes not the way you want it to and a lot earlier than you wanted, yeah.
Exactly.
No, fair play to you, mate. And then it didn't get any better at Widnes with him, did it? So, you know what I mean? Yeah, you've had it hard. So, like you said, the Salford move come about, mate, and you touched on it there. There wasn't a lot of options, but thankfully it's close to home again, wasn't it? So how did that come about?
Watto just rang me. I played with Watto for Wales, doing really well. He just rang me and said, what are you doing? I said, I don't really know at the minute. He was like, do you want to come play at Salford? I was like, I'll have to let you know. I don't know what I want to do at the minute.
Right.
And then I had a chat with my wife, and it was kind of, what else am I going to do? I'm going to have to do this.
Right.
I did want to carry. I didn't want to finish playing. I wanted to carry on playing because I felt like I'd not finished on my own terms. Like I said, like you said, then I'd been injured all year. I didn't get to. If I'd finished then, I would have looked back with massive regret.
Yeah.
So I had the bit between my teeth where I was like, right, I'm going to go there. I'm going to do something. I'm going to show everybody, because I got slated by the fans for the best part of that year because I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So like I said, going to there, and like I said, I knew I played with Mossop, I played with Greg Burke, because Berkey went earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
I played at Wigan with Moose.
That was when we let Greg go. It was a strange. Was that the loan?
I didn't understand it.
Yeah, it's a mad move. That
it was weird.
You,
and then Greg scored against us in the middle eights as well.
Yeah, just for a nice one. Yeah. No, it was one of them that, like, yeah, I think it shocked people because he is Mr. Consistent, Greg, isn't he?
And he does stuff that certain players can't do. Like the skill level of him with ball in hand is ridiculous. But like I say, you don't do anything wrong, but some people want to change. Yeah, so it's out of your hands.
Yeah, fair enough. And so when you go on, clubs obviously sell you the dream, Gil, don't they? And this is what we want to do, and these are our hope. But they might have been saying them things, what you went on to achieve. But was it, because you're pretty honest, you've been honest with me, was it attainable in your mind that had happened at Salford?
Getting to the grand final?
Yeah.
When I signed there, I'd never like a million years. When I got there, I wanted to kind of rebuild my reputation within the game. And I think there was a lot of boys there at the time that had a point to prove. And I think it was kind of just a perfect storm where you had the likes of Jackson Hastings, who was on the outs in Australia. You had a lot to prove. Yeah. There was Mossop had gone there because there was concerns about him being able to hold up for a season with his body, which, he showed that was no issue at all. Greg had gone over there from Widnes, like say, out of left field. Yeah. I kind of gone there, again, the same kind of out of necessity, really, because we kind of, I think we tagged ourselves the misfits when we got to the grand final. We were the misfits. But like I say, the main talking point at the beginning pre-season, and that was just changing people's perceptions of what Salford were, because everyone kind of thought they were just we've got Salford, we'll beat them this week.
Yeah.
We had a real big point to prove to being, we're going to be a tough out for anybody. Yeah. And we're not going to give up, and we're going to be fit, and we're going to play decent, we're going to play good style of rugby. And, think we were going well through the season, and then things just clicked at the back end. And it was like everything we touched turned to gold.
That's how it come across as well, to be fair. Like, if there was a 50-50, it was like a 65, like 35.
Like
yeah, but that's watching you, that's how it felt.
Yeah.
Like you said, most of you stayed fit. It's mad to say that you've had a point to prove, because you named the names, and looking at it now, you haven't. Yeah. But obviously back then you felt it. And did you feel your reputation was damaged, did you, Gil? Because I wouldn't have thought we'd have felt that.
It was more the fact that, like I say, when what went down, and I didn't really have many options.
Right.
And I was like for me, and I took because I signed a new deal while I was injured as well. I got a lot of flack.
Right.
And I was like, I played for 3 years, pretty much every game. I'd not missed a game. And then I was getting all this abuse that I was always injured and never played. And I was like, what's going on here? And I think, like you say, because it wasn't in my control in terms of leaving. And it was just kind of, this is right, we'll give you this. You have no other options. I was like, I kind of took it, like you said, you take it personally, don't you? You think, right, okay, I'll show everybody. And like I say, things worked out brilliantly. And I had some of the best times at Salford. It really made me fall in love with the game again.
No, and that's great. It looks like Watto has a good eye for talent as well, to be fair. His pictures all up there, and you're sort of all been picked apart a little bit. Salford and you've all grit elsewhere, haven't you? But yeah, so when there was rumours then, so obviously you've left and you don't hear what Witness fans and that say, but was the rehab very generic at Witness? And then you've gone to Salford and I heard it like personalised. So does the personalised stuff obviously helps you more than the generic stuff, doesn't it? And
allows you. What do you mean at Witness? Was
so do you know your rehab and stuff?
Yeah, when I'm injured.
Yeah, so apparently the rehab for the players or the conditioning, that was very generic. It was like one fits all type of thing, if that makes sense.
With me, I worked a lot with Tim Holmes one-on-one because I was out for such a long time with my back.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like his pet project.
All right.
So everything was very tailored towards me and what I needed to do to get back strong, fit, and be able to play.
Yeah. Okay.
And like you said, well, at Salford, mate, we had a small squad. It was a small squad, a very small staff, and it was a lot. Everything was a lot more. Everyone we had one direction we were working in, and then we were all working there, and everyone sat in the same office. Everyone, the players could go in and out of the office. There was no closed doors. It was like we were like a little. It was everybody was together, if that makes sense. It was like
one in all with the big players.
There's coaches, the performance staff, the mental staff. We were all one team. We were all in one area together. No one was separated out, and there was no closed doors. Okay.
So there was a big buy-in, then, isn't it? It's like one in all, like we said.
Massively, exactly that.
So when you're on this run, mate, does it ever feel like it'll end, or do you feel a little bit invincible at the time?
Yeah, you don't feel when you're in that sort of vein of form.
Yeah,
you feel like you can't lose, even when you're losing by 20. You're like, we're going to come back. We will come back. We know we will. And to go a little bit off, it was a bit like Catalan last year.
Right.
We had that same feeling.
Yeah.
Like when we played Saints at Magic Weekend and we were down by 16 with 6 minutes to go. Never once felt like we had lost the game.
Right.
So it's and I remember when I was at Wigan as well in 2013, we had that same feeling. We could be down by 40 at half time and we'll beat you by 44.
Yeah, no, I get that, mate. Yeah, and that's how it looked at them clubs as well. So when you are behind, mate, and you're behind the sticks, again, fans probably think you'll be ranting, raving. It's not about that, is it? So who steps up and says, like, listen, trust the processes. This is what we've been doing. Does it come player-led?
Yeah, it's always player-led, that stuff. Like I say, at Salford, we knew our game plan inside out. Right. We knew if we stuck to our game plan and we did our jobs properly, we'd get the opportunities to score.
Yeah.
So like you say, at Salford, it was easy. You just get back to game plan. Get back to game plan. And everyone knew their job inside out. So like you say, it literally, you only need to say 2 or 3 words.
Yeah.
There's no point ranting and raving, just wasting energy.
No. And did you think, because it come across that way, you were playing probably the best stuff you've played?
Yeah, definitely.
Because it seemed that way, but it seemed that way, like you said, everybody seemed to be right at the top of the game, didn't they?
Yeah, 100%. And like you say, you get that confidence, it resonates through the team.
Yeah. So how did the move to Catalans come about? Because it's like you've done a full circle, mate, innit? They've been interested before. You've grew, and the time's now, I suppose. And
yeah, no. Well, my brother-in-law plays here, Mickey Mack. So we came over Christmas one year, spent some time here. The kids did some skiing. My wife skied in that, and we were like, "It's nice here."
Yeah,
I like it here. It's nice. And obviously, my wife had been over to see her sister a few times with the kids in the summer and stuff. And as soon as they came, there was interest from them. It was a yes from me, 100%. It took a little bit more persuading to get my wife on board.
Yeah.
But as soon as I knew that it was possible, it was always going to happen from my end. Because like I said, I'd moved around loads as a kid myself. It wasn't an issue for me. And I wanted to give my kids the opportunity to go and experience a different culture and a different way of life and learn another language, if I'm honest. I wanted them to be able to have that skill in life. And like I say, once you've got that, you can't take it away from you.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't want what I did for my kids in terms of moving around so much because although I look back fondly at the time, it's hard. And I feel like I missed out on the other things from doing that. But they're at a good age now. So my eldest is only 7, my youngest is 2. Got our 4th on the way in August.
Yeah, congratulations, mate.
So they're at an age where it's not too detrimental for them at the minute to be doing it. And like my 7-year-old now, her French is ridiculous.
Google Translate on legs.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it took a bit a bit of talking for your wife, isn't it? And the things we don't appreciate is the sacrifice not only yourself but your loved ones, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
massively.
When you're out there, is it because a mate of mine's played out there and stuff, a few mates, but is it very much a collective thing? So the families stay around families? Do you interact quite well off the field and that? Because that's how it shows on a pitch, I suppose, isn't it? And
yeah, definitely. We're pretty fortunate in the position that we live in the same village as my sister-in-law.
Right.
So we've got family here, so it was easier for us than maybe the normal person. But like you say, you've only got each other here.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird in that sense. You are kind of in a bubble within a bubble because there's not many people, locals, that speak English.
Okay.
It's very French. So it's hard when you're at the school gates and stuff like that to kind of speak to the other parents unless you can speak a bit of French. Yeah, and everyone's really nice and that. But it's one of them where back home you might move to another town or city and you can make friends and connect with people. Whereas here it's kind of not one step, maybe 3 steps harder because you can't speak the same language.
Yeah, you just like that.
so everyone kind of helps everyone out. And like you say, it's hard because if something happens at the moment's notice, you can't get your family over to help. And like a lot of us have quite a lot of kids, so you've kind of got you all kind of step up and chip in, and you kind of become each other's family while you're over it.
Yeah, well, obviously, Catalans have been known, unfortunately, in the past to sign back-end career players, haven't they? And a few have worked out and a few haven't, and that's sport, like you said. But it feels like currently in the last couple of years, they've got that recruitment right with Steve coming in and bringing the likes of Hughes through and that, with a couple of seasoned Aussies, but still in the right age bracket, aren't they? So you can come through together. How is that when you rock up to training, mate? You've got the sun. You can wear your vest and tan up if you want to tan up. But you're playing good stuff as well. You aren't boring. You don't just rely on a carry and a kick. You just make stuff happen. So how have you enjoyed the way you're developing? And again, I think you're up there as playing some of your best stuff yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, no, definitely. And like you say, it's nice to be able to wear a vest in December and January. Like,
yeah, all right.
French lads look at you like you got 3 heads, but they're the only ones. Everyone else is kind of it's warm, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like you say, we play a good brand of rugby, and it's fun to play that type of rugby. It's fun to score points, and you still got to do the hard stuff. And I play in the middle. Like everything falls on our head at the end of the day if things go wrong or don't work out. It gets rewound back to where someone can do something in the middle every time. So the sunshine is nice, and like you say, when you're not at training and or even when you finish training, you can go and get down the beach and have a play about in the sea with the kids, or you get home and jump in the pool, which is very alien to the British lads. But something that is, like you say, it's unique here and it is nice.
Yeah. So where do you see yourselves going, really? And because you're challenging on all fronts, you aren't the team that don't travel anymore. You probably play as good away as you do at home. So there's no boundaries for you, really, is there?
No, like you say, I think our biggest, as long as we can stay healthy, relatively healthy as a squad and a team, and we keep improving as we are, because, we lost Jimmy last year. Mitch has come in, trying to build that partnership with him and Drinky, and got a couple of the players that have come in. It takes time for that to gel. And I look back to kind of the first year at Salford. We had a few teething problems early doors in the season, and we were still trying to find our feet. And then, like you say, by the back end of the season, it was the fairy tale up until the last game. Yeah. So there's no reason why once we get that all the parts clicking that we can't make another run like we did last year.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. And it's something you might not be aware of, but do you work together with Perpignan? Because obviously you've been involved with both codes growing up, and the rugby union in France is pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah,
so is it something behind scenes the club work with Perpignan to make it so a crowd can go with both clubs, or?
No, not that I know of. No, it's quite funny here. It's a bit like the village I'm in is a rugby union village,
right?
So there's no rugby league teams here. No one plays rugby league.
Okay.
Yeah, rugby union team, and it's quite like the older boys. Like you go to the bakery and the older boys are sat around, and you'll have in one village they're all rugby league. They don't talk about rugby union. Then you go into the other village and they're all rugby union. No one talks about rugby league.
Yeah, strange.
Quite tribal still.
Yeah. So is rugby union ever come across your path since you kicked on in rugby league, mate? Has there been interest there for you, or?
There was a moment in time where I tried to see if that door was open, and there was very lukewarm interest, and it required me taking a trial. And at the time, I had a baby, and I was like, I can't turn down guaranteed money for a hope and a prayer. So it never really got any legs to it now.
Yeah, because I know Benny done it, didn't he? And I think he got a bit of stick, Benny. Did he go over and play a court, Benny Flower?
Oh, at Pontypool?
Yeah.
Oh, did he get some grief, did he?
Well, I seen an article on, might have been Twitter or something, mate, where did he spend a bit of quid?
Oh, that's just everyone don't like Pontypool, that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because they win every year.
Oh, right, fair enough. Yeah, no one likes winners, did he?
No.
Yeah, no, I seen he got a bit of stick in that, and I don't get it. Obviously, he made that error in the final, and it's just a mind explosion. It doesn't define who he is.
No, definitely not.
And probably without being rude, the Welsh ain't bothered about that anyway, are they?
No.
Yeah, but yeah, he got a bit of stick, and
every Saturday and Sunday that.
Well, yeah, it is. Is it the Premiership underneath the Pro League? I can imagine, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just shocked that there hasn't been a bit more interest in you, mate, especially more than a trial as well when you're established. I don't get that.
It's weird. It's looked upon as, why did you not play rugby union?
I did.
Yeah, but why did you not make it a union? Why did you want to play league? Whereas if you've never played union, it's kind of looked upon as this is what I've been told anyway. I might have been got fed a load of bullshit. But if you haven't played union, then they look at a league player and go, he's never played union, let's give him a go, he could be good. Whereas if you've played union in the past and gone to league, you kind of tainted. You didn't make it in union, that's why you play league.
All right, okay.
That's what I've been told. Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
Yeah, mate, there's a good chance about it. And so, obviously, you've got a few years in you yet, mate. And I've no doubt you're going to excel and kick on again. But what are your thoughts post-rugby? Is rugby, you want to stay involved with rugby, or?
Depends in what capacity that would look like. I don't think I want to be a coach. I think coaches work the same days, but a lot longer hours. And you still have no weekends and you still have no summer. So like I said, I'm a qualified accountant. I did my master's in sport and directorship at Salford Uni. Like that sort of role would really interest me, like a sport and director type role. I currently sell life insurance as well. Whether that's, to be honest, mate, I'm not really sure what I want to do.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a lot of options or potential, but I think it'll be away from rugby.
Yeah.
Initially, anyway, unless I get the bug and want to come back.
Yeah. No, and that's the beauty, that you've been smart enough back when all that happened.
Yeah.
Give yourself the allowance to do that.
Like I say, it was kind of, like I say, I look back now and it's one of the best things that ever happened, because it forced me to go and do other things and get myself to the point where I would be okay if it all stopped tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that, mate. And I suppose you commit that much through your lives to rugby. A step away does you no harm either, does it?
I think it was the making of me, because it kind of, a lot of people think it takes away from rugby, but I think it enhances your rugby, because it takes away the sole reliance and stress on rugby when you know you've got, if it all was all to go, you've got something else. You don't stress as much, you don't worry as much. Yeah. And if you're not worrying and stressed and you're relaxed and happy, You can play better because you're not as tense.
Yeah. Right. So a couple of daft questions for you, which you semi-answered before one of them. But so back in your younger days, mate, what were your pre-match superstitions?
I used to have to put my left sock on first before my right sock.
Yeah.
If I played good, whatever song I listened to, I used to have to listen to that song before I got onto the field.
Right.
What there was another. Oh, I used to have the same exact meals every day, every game day.
Yeah.
Like to the point where if I forgot something, it was like the end of the world, and I'd be like racing around to find one specific ingredient.
All right. Okay.
Torture to live with. That's my missus.
It sounds a bit that way, actually. So the toughest player you've played with and against, mate?
Toughest player played with? Probably Mickey Mack.
Yeah, he's a popular one, Mickey.
Toughest player I've played against. In terms of just being horrible, tough, or in terms of like toughest player to play against?
So that's the beauty, mate, isn't it? It's open to perceptions. So it's what you would deem as toughest.
You stumped me there. I should have looked at the questions more, shouldn't I?
Sorry, dude. Because that's the thing, isn't it? Tough could be he's going to whack you every time you touch the ball. Or tough could be he makes them carries out the backfield when you big boys are tired, innit?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm trying to... I'll tell you what, the hardest I've ever been hit, Sam Mower, when he was at Hull FC. I ran straight at him off kick-off, first carry of the game for Wigan. And I ended up doing like a 720 spin to the side and didn't know where I was.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, big time. Sam's left shoulder.
Yeah, what a player he was, wasn't it? So your favourite away ground, Gil?
See, now no one would agree with me here. I like playing at Wakefield.
Yeah, who did he have on? Someone I had on last week. It might be Tyrone McCarthy, it might have been, or Matty Smith. They like the Cass and the Wakey grounds, yeah.
See, I like the Wakey one just because every time I normally play there, it's normally summer and the ground's rock hard. But I guess in terms of actual, Hull FC stadium is probably one of the best to go and play in.
Yeah. Just
in terms of the actual stadium itself.
Okay, mate, fair enough. So, say you and the lads are out and you've had a few, mate, the mic's in your hand. What are you giving us?
Some Tom Jones.
Are you going to do a 1-2 step with it, or do you just blast a song out?
Depends how I'm feeling.
Depends how many. No comment, yeah. So you're 1 to 13 that you've played with, if you can, mate.
The best?
Yeah.
Sammy at back?
Yeah.
You're going to edit this so it doesn't look as slow?
I can if you want, mate.
Well, yeah.
You know what, though? The beauty is, mate, because you've been at the top level for that long, that's why you have to. You've played with that many good players, mate, and you're all internationals virtually.
Right, wingers, Pat Richards.
Yeah.
This is who I played with, this, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Pat Richards. I'm trying to think what I've played with now. Corey Thompson on the other wing.
Did you play with Corey at Witness?
Yeah.
Didn't you? Yeah.
Go centres. Who have I played with now? Testing myself here.
Yeah, so at Wigan you'd have had Carmon.
George Carmont.
Yeah. Glees.
No, I didn't play with Glees.
Darryl Golding.
I was thinking Daz, yeah.
Gels.
Yeah, we'll chuck Gels in there. He was always fun.
Yeah, lively.
We'll go, we're going to have half backs.
Yeah.
Blake Green. chuck Kevin there for a laugh, shall we?
Right. So it's your pack now, mate. Your big mates.
Front row. Go with. In fact, do you know what? Yeah, we'll go Lee Moss up, Mickey at 9, Ben Flower.
Yeah.
Back rowers. Faz.
Yeah.
Mike McMeekin.
Mm-hmm.
And then lockers, loose forward.
So, mate.